Steven, I can't talk right now. I'm running on the court at the U.S. Open. Yeah, to take pictures during the match. I could do it, right?
So, Stephen, I did go to the U.S. Open. I did not have credentials. I did not run on the court. I did not create a worldwide discussion about photographers running on courts when they shouldn't run on courts.
Oh, man, what a story.
It is a story, and we're going to get to that. We're not going to start off with that right now. There's a lot to say, and that's why when I said it on on Photo News Fix, that we're going to talk more about it is because in a 2-minute segment, I can't go into all the nuances, especially when the USTA came back after I already recorded the other thing to refute what the guy said, the photographer, and he says one thing, they say the other, and that's why we're going to talk about it more when we get to that. But Steven is back in town. His vacation is over.
Boo. I'm sure you're happy.
I mean, how was your vacation? Was it fun?
It was good. It just, as always, it goes by way too fast. You know, it's one of those things where sometimes it's not even worth to go on vacation because you end up doing double the work before vacation, and then you get a few days off, and then you have to almost play catch up when you get back to work. It's just a lot.
Hunts or Heinz?
Oh, ketchup? I'm more of a Heinz guy.
Yeah, 100% Heinz guy. Did you know that Disney in the 1980s had a contract with Hunt's ketchup?
Nope.
My mom would sneak in packets of ketchup and a bottle of ketchup for my dad, brother, and I when we went to Disney and we're at the Polynesian because I refused to eat the cinnamon style ketchup that was Hunt's in the 1980s.
I'm pretty sure you told me this story before because you used to be obsessed with ketchup. You had ketchup on everything.
Well, yeah, because that's just what,
because you ate like a child.
My chicken fingers that we made, the hamburgers.
What would you have? Hawaiian punch, or Kool-Aid or something?
No, it was Hawaiian punch.
Yeah.
It was a lot of Hawaiian punch, and then I switched to apple juice. But both of those are terrible for you for sugar purposes.
Yeah.
But regardless, you mentioned Heinz and or Hunt's or whatever the hell you mentioned.
I said play ketchup, and that
play
threw
ketchup.
us down this rabbit hole.
Yeah, but my mom. We went to Medieval Times in Orlando where my brother and I got 2 swords, but my mom brought in a bottle of ketchup because she called ahead and they did not have ketchup for the guinea fowl or whatever the hell it was that we used to eat there.
You guys are just a big ketchup family, it seemed.
Yeah, back then. Now my brother and I, we eat actual food.
Super
my dad
clean.
is still ketchup.
Yeah.
But if I'm having French fries and a hamburger, I'm having fucking ketchup. If I'm having my Jared's world famous chicken, I'm having ketchup.
That's about it for me, is just French fries, ketchup on that, and mustard on a hot dog for me. Anyway, great conversation.
How was the trip?
It was great. I mean, it's great to be with family for a week. There was probably, 26 of us in this house. It was the same house that we were at before in the Smoky Mountains in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, right outside of Gatlinburg. Incredible view from this house because we're at basically the top of this mountain specifically.
Couldn't you do that in the Poconos?
Probably, yeah. But the Smoky Mountains are just surreal. The view is incredible. Now, the only issue this time around was that it was incredibly hot and humid. And we went the same time of year last time, but it was actually pretty cool. So the heat index every day was probably over 100, I think. It was brutally hot and humid that week. So unfortunately, it didn't make for great pictures from the balcony because there was just a giant haze of humidity every single day.
Did you take a camera?
I did. Took the Fuji X100 VI. Honestly, I ended up using my phone a lot just because I had Hannah in my hands half the time. But I tried to take some pictures from the view. That was really the only thing that was worthy of taking photos, in my opinion, with a real camera. But the haze just killed the images.
You didn't want to get pictures of your daughter with the real camera or the family
of course,
with the real camera?
I took pictures here and there of Hannah running around, but it just becomes the same pictures over and over in the house. So,
well, in the house, yeah.
We didn't do a ton of activities outside the house just because we have nearly a 2-year-old and she can only do so much. A lot of the family members did a day on a boat. They did hiking in caverns and stuff like that where we really couldn't do that. Or there was a lot of not stroller friendly stuff. So we did do Dollywood, but it was basically paying $150 for a splash pad because that's really all we did with her.
I would have left her at home. That's what I'm going to do when I have a kid. I'm going away. You stay the fuck here. No one cares. Someone watch this kid.
At least last time we had no kids, so we did get to experience the Smoky Mountains and Dollywood and do all that stuff with just me and Nicole. But this time around, it was a way different experience with Hannah. We did do an outdoor theme park. It was called Anakista. It's at the top of the mountains. You had to actually take a ski lift to get up there. The issue for us was that it was around 5, 6 o'clock when we went, and that's Hannah's witching hour, and she was insanely hangry and wouldn't eat and just threw a tantrum, and it was a rough experience. And just getting up there in a gondola, we had to wait like an hour just to get to the top of the mountain. We went to the aquarium, we went to the Titanic Museum again. She was great there. And then I ended my trip by getting stung by a scorpion. So that was fun. On the final day when I was packing up, there was just a sting. Felt like a bee sting almost, or like a splinter or something like that. And I looked down and there's a 2-inch scorpion running across my bag. And I now have a nice giant welt on my finger and it kills. And that's a week later. Thankfully, it wasn't a lethal sting. I am not allergic to scorpions, but it definitely felt like a rough bee sting.
Well, welcome back. We have you here now. What'd you think when you saw that a Tony Northrup episode posted?
Well, one, you didn't tell me at all or warn me, so I woke up that morning to see the episode posted, and I'm like, oh God, what did he say? What happened? Is this a fight? Is it a debate? Or is it just a conversation? And I actually thought it was really well done. I thought you guys had some great talking points, great back and forth. You kept your cool for the most part. But, you know, it's Jared's way or the highway with some of your thoughts.
It's not Jared's way or the highway. It's just the way.
The way. See? Exactly.
It's just the way. No, he's wrong. Hold the camera out in front of you. I've done scientific tests to show that it's more stable to hold it out in front of Tony. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about with that one. There's no way it's more stable.
Yeah, personally, I'm more of an EVF guy, but obviously I'll use the screen if I'm crouching down low or something like that. So I get that side, but I thought it was a great conversation. I really did.
Yeah, it was fine. It was good. I like my AI thumbnail a lot.
A lot of people didn't.
They can like really go live in the past.
Yeah, seriously.
They can for real go live in the past. Like I literally went to ChatGPT and typed in the prompt that I wanted, and that's what it gave me. Now, it made us look angry. I could have reprompted and said, make us not look angry.
Yeah.
But who cares? Like, it's something that happened in 10 seconds. You know, like if you can't evolve, the AI's here. It's not going anywhere. And if you're just going to be left behind because you don't learn how to use it or use it to your advantage in one way or another, then that's on you. It's like saying, oh, well, autofocus is out. I'm not going to use autofocus. That's a false equivocation right there. It's not the same thing.
What was the actual prompt you typed in to get that image?
Well, I'd have to pull that up. Do you want me to pull it up?
I'm just curious, just because it did make you both look angry. Did it just automatically know that you two have had debates in the past and almost fights online?
Podcast artwork creation. Create an image for a podcast artwork for Frono's Photo RAWtalk that includes an illustration of Frono's photo versus Tony Northrup. Frono's photo on the left, Tony on the right, both illustrated.
I guess the verses part, yeah.
Yeah, the verses. And it pulled me in a purple shirt, and it pulled Tony in that shirt, and Tony's like, I do have that shirt. It is, look, it's exactly what I wanted.
Yeah.
Is it, what I didn't know what I wanted. I wanted to see what it came up with, and I'm like, yep, good enough. Like, that I'll put on the episode trailer as the thumbnail, and obviously on YouTube, we never get 16,000 views of a podcast audio.
Well,
that got over 16,000
it's because
that time.
You presented it as an actual video with a real thumbnail, not just RAWtalk logo. And also, it's Tony Northrup. You know, you guys have always had your little tips in the past, and everyone wants to know how you feel today.
Yeah. Probably if it was video, it might have done even more views.
So that was my only gripe about the whole thing is I kind of wish we waited and did an actual full-on video like interview, because I would have loved to see the video for that, and not just threw it up as audio only. But
sitting. It's literally just two people sitting. When I watch back the thing that we put out recently about my being on the radio, that reminds me of that's what we used to do with our podcast. Like, we had the people around. We had video ours was obviously shot even better than that.
Our podcast was very visually based too, because if you recall, when we would do the photo news, we would actually have the news stories on the screen showcasing the new camera or whatever it was we were talking about. We would have photos that we took from that weekend or about a new lens or a new camera that we would showcase. It was very visually based.
I think that this movement towards podcast video has shifted. Like for a while, you had the call her daddies and whatever doing that, and the Jake Pauls and the Logan Pauls doing their podcasts where they just sit in a sofa and they talk, and people are like, everybody's got to get into video podcasts, but it's like, it's not even visually interesting. Like, how are you going to, like Colin and Samir, I don't want to sit there and just watch you talk to people. I just don't enjoy that.
Yeah, I think if we did video, I would go all out again. And I mean, we would take a whole day almost to prep the live show for RAWtalk. It took a lot of prep. And usually Todd didn't even follow along half the time when we would be doing the photo news or something. So the screen was always delayed with what we were talking about or something like that. It was quite a production.
Yeah, it totally was.
Also, by the way, with the Tony thing, you had mentioned that we had him on RAWtalk before. We never had him on RAWtalk, but you were on his live show when they did the live, whatever, Lightroom critique thing.
That's why I confused it.
Yeah, and that was an interesting interview, to say the least.
Whatever. Here we are. We're here. We're done. You're back. We can move into some of the news stories we're going to talk about. We've got Hasselblad. We've got tennis. We've got the Taylor Swift photos.
Yep.
And I think that pretty much rounds it up for this week. But let's start with the Hasselblad. And I know you don't know too much about it because it just came out. We didn't have the camera. They didn't send us one. I did reach out to them prior, knowing that the camera was coming, and asked for it. And they just totally misunderstood something. I don't know if it's a lost in translation because it's they're in China, even though that it's like a former Swedish brand and it was bought by DJI. But the X2D2, you'll see a lot of videos about that camera that have come out. Some of the people that made the videos do specify that Hasselblad gave them the camera to keep, and then they wanted to get that out of the way, and then they go and make a video, like a product showcase or something. Other channels either don't tell you that, or that's not the case. So certain channels, we don't know whether they were, some people are like, yeah, we were given the camera to give back and it will be going back. I don't get to keep it.
Sure.
And then other people are like, yeah, we're keeping the camera.
It sounds just like Panasonic's recent launches where most of the people got to keep all the gear, right?
They did. And in the past, I was talking with Hasselblad. They wanted to send me the X2D version 1 and a bunch of lenses. We're talking like $15,000 in gear in exchange for a video that they would then get to preview. And I'm like, that's not how it works. I'm like, you can send me the gear, but I'm sending it to you back.
Yeah.
Or even if I decide to keep it, like, because you want to give me the 15, like, I'll be honest and upfront with people, but it can't be a review at that point. It just can't be. And that's the hard part here, is that my biggest question with people that are being given the camera and praising the camera is, if you weren't given the camera, would you still buy it? And the answer to that is probably 90% of the people are going to be like, maybe 95% would say no, because that's $15,000 to buy this setup.
So people that did get the camera, did Hasselblad review the video beforehand, before it was published?
And what they do is they're not reviewing it to tell you that they don't like what you said. Because I know that some people that I talk to are like, yeah, I still said negative things. I'm like, yeah, no, I get that. They just want it for factually correct things, which is what we always say.
Honestly, I wish every manufacturer was like that. Hey, we'll review the video and make sure you're right on certain things, because there's sometimes when we're briefed and we're not told things, or we're even told things incorrectly. That happens a lot.
Yeah, they get it wrong from time to time.
Yeah.
And so we put out a video and people are like, you got this wrong. It was like, well, this is what we were briefed on.
Yep.
And we can only go by what we're told. And that's why we kind of do 1 year later reviews to clear a lot of stuff up. I mean, that's a year later, but
a lot of times too, before we film reviews, I'll try to reach out to the person who briefed us and just send them a list of specs that I have and just confirm, is all of this correct? Am I getting anything wrong? Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. So like, don't take this as being salty, because I know people are like, you're just salty. They didn't give you the same thing. I'm like, no, actually, I've been offered the same thing. I haven't taken it. So I will consider it 100%. You want to send me a $70-some $100 camera and a couple of lenses? I, by all means, would be like, okay, like, I'll make some content with it. But it's hard to justify telling someone to buy the camera that you personally wouldn't buy yourself because you wouldn't invest that much money, especially with Fuji's entire setup for medium format being a couple $1,000s less and still having better focus. And, well, I can't tell you whether it has better focus or not because I haven't used the new one, which actually has continuous autofocus, where the first generation of this X2D did not have continuous autofocus, which was like when people were putting out videos about it, I was like, how can you praise a camera that doesn't have continuous autofocus at this point? They're like, but it's really meant for portraits. I'm like, but it doesn't mean it has to be.
Exactly.
It doesn't mean that, you know, it can only do this and you can't use it for action or photojournal. Like even the simplest thing is street photography. Someone walking down the street, you couldn't do that because it's not continuous focus tracking. So it was really hard to watch videos from people where they would where they would praise it, but gloss over that other stuff and justify it. I don't think you would ever justify it in your own mind paying $8,000 for a camera that doesn't have continuous autofocus.
And the frame rate is still pretty low, right? What is it, 3 frames per second?
It actually got slower frame rate in the X2D2 than the X2D. It went from 3.3 frames a second to 3.
Oh,
it went down.
3.3. And the Fuji, I think, is 7 frames per second?
It's like 8, but of course it dumps it down to 14-bit.
Well, so
right?
does the X2D2, right?
The X2D2, it's like these cameras that shoot 16-bit, I don't know why you wouldn't just leave it at 16-bit at the highest, you know, all the time and deal with the constraints of not being able to rapid fire. Like, to me, that's why you buy this.
Sure.
Not to dumb it down.
Agreed.
So my contention, I have no problem with people taking the camera and then telling you they took the camera. I do have a problem if someone hid the fact that they took the camera. I don't know if anybody did because I didn't watch all of the videos. But on the flip side, the biggest takeaway is if you were given the camera and you wouldn't buy that camera, but then you praise the shit out of the camera to the public, it's like, well, are you doing a disservice? Like, I'd buy an R1. I get to use R1s because they send me long-term loaners of R1s. I now have 2 of them. Same thing with R3s. I had 2 of those when they sent them. Like, I would physically spend the money on that, but I would not physically spend the money on $70-some $100 for the X2D2. That wouldn't be my choice.
Yeah.
It's probably a really nice camera when it comes to quality. As you see from sample images, yeah, it's medium format, but it's not real medium format. It's the cropped medium format, but it's still bigger than full frame.
It's pretty amazing, though, how these giant mirrorless medium format cameras are becoming closer and closer to like real full frame type cameras. You know?
Well, you look at the Fuji, you're at $50-some $100 for a medium format camera.
Yeah.
Not bad at all.
Yeah, it's getting closer in price and just also like ergonomics. Like this now has a joystick, continuous autofocus. It's becoming like a real camera and not a studio one-shot type camera.
You know what I wish it didn't have, though? I wish it didn't have an EVF, so I had to be forced to use the screen.
Okay, Tony.
Come here. Oh, can I mention something here? I forgot to mention real quick that the next Fronos Photo Bootcamp is October 11th. It's Saturday, October 11th.
Ooh.
You can go to the website. It's bit.ly/ oh, geez, I don't even remember what I called it. bit.ly/fro1011, I think. Yeah, bit.ly/fro1011. You can sign up for the Fronos Photo Bootcamp at bit.ly/fro1011. The number 10, the number 11, and that is Saturday, October 11th, 2025, right here. There are 18 total spots. The first 2 sold out. Whether you're a new photographer, a beginner photographer, an advanced photographer, you want to get hands-on help from me and the other people here, photograph models, inside, outside, doing portraits, action stuff, and panning. We've got skateboarders and basketball players. It's a really good day, and it all ends with that critique that everybody learned so much from. So
early October should be beautiful around here, too.
We hope so.
Yeah.
Last year we did one in November. It ended up being like only like 45, 50 degrees. It wasn't terrible for November.
Nice.
But this one is the October one, and I hope that it sells out because we want to help as many of you guys out, and we want to help out my pocketbook.
I was like, that's the real reason.
I mean, when you're gonna, it's nice to get paid, but it's also nice to help people. Like
You do,
the
yeah.
money isn't on my mind when people are here.
Of course.
It's all about giving the best experience. Like we do good lunches. You have great breakfast. There's good snack. Like it's all good. I get extra models.
And I've seen your face light up when someone like gets it. when you finally get someone to fully understand something that they've never understood, whether that's like aperture or ISO or something more specific to their camera. I think you light up when someone really does get it.
It's the simple stuff. And it's when someone realizes that it is the simple stuff. We you know what's crazy here? Some of the things that we end up doing with people when they come to a boot camp is figuring out that their autofocus is set wrong. It's some minor setting. They're like, I can't seem to do this right. And I'm like, oh, your Canon camera is continually focusing even when your finger isn't pressed on the button. I understand why it's doing
AF
that.
option. I hate that. Why is that even an option?
It shouldn't be an option. So I go into the camera, I turn it off. And then a lot of times people are on the wrong focusing point. And then I put it in the whole area AF, which is the all-encompassing one. And they're like, oh my God, that changed everything. I'm like, I know you didn't need to spend all that money to come here just to learn that. But when you get all of that bullshit out of the way, and then you could focus on just composing and exposing, it changes the world for you. And we're able to help you whether you have a Nikon, Canon, Sony, Hasselblad, whatever, Fuji. Nobody shows up with a Fuji, by the way. No one shows up with a Hasselblad. It's always a Nikon, it's always a Sony, and it's mostly Canon with people showing up. But it doesn't matter what you have. It's about the fundamentals. Anyway, bit.ly/fro1011. We'll put the link down in the description as well, and we hope to see you here for that boot camp. So let's wrap. We wrapped up the Hasselblad thing. Let's move on to the tennis.
Oh,
I'm going to preface this whole thing. This is just insane what happened. It's not what any photographer ever wants to happen. You don't I mean, I do want to be the center of attention, but you don't want to be the center of attention in a way where it's negative, in the way where you screwed something up or you caused a delay. Like in baseball or in hockey, you don't want to have in hockey your lens is sticking through the photo hole and then all of a sudden it hits someone or your lens hood drops onto the ice and you're like, what the hell? And they're like, that you feel so bad. Or how about the time that we were photographing?
That's what I was just going to bring up. Speaking of hockey,
Steven, we were doing the
R7D Mark II, I thought, wasn't it?
It could have been the 7D Mark II at the Philadelphia Flyers. And I was in the concourse area shooting down onto the ice, and Steven was behind me standing up, and he had a light on top of his camera, and then an LED light, and then all of a sudden security comes out of nowhere and like, you need to turn that off, because the bench was complaining that there was a big light sticking up and it should have never been on.
Well, the thing is, I had it literally pointed down at you, but I think it was reflecting off the ice and then getting into players' eyes, apparently. So I had no idea, and it honestly wasn't that bright.
But the problem is the stadiums, the way they do lighting is the stands are dark, and so anything that is reflective. Anyway, so that felt, you feel really bad in those
terrible
situations. Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, I had no idea. Like, and also I didn't even have the light that bright, but
I know.
Yeah. And we were never told that we couldn't do that. So
yeah. So if you've been living under a rock and you haven't paid attention to the photo and you look for me for all your news, this is what happened at the US Open during the first night of tennis. A photographer literally walks out on the court. Now, when I heard photographer walks on the court, I thought that meant that a photographer during play on purpose walks onto the court and interferes with the play. I thought it was
much worse. Yeah.
Right. And that wasn't the case. What happened is a photographer comes out from underneath the stadium, like there's like a hallway, and turns and is basically hugging the wall and starts to walk towards where the photographers are able to stand during a match or sit during a match. And then as soon as they do that, you hear the chair umpire say, stop, don't come out, please sit down, or something. And then the
not right
guy
now, I think he says,
yeah, not right now, which how are you supposed to know he's talking to you?
I know, yeah.
Right. And then there was right as a match point. This is the pivotal moment. The underdog is up 2-0 and is going to try and serve to win the match and not have it extend 5 sets, which it ended up extending 5 sets after this. So the chair umpire stops, and the photographer keeps going and doesn't stop. And then the big issue happens, and this doesn't have anything to do with the photographer, but it was caused because of this delay. The chair umpire ruled a first serve, even though the guy already served this first serve and it was out. So he should have been serving his second serve. That's when Medvedev, a little bitch that he is, flipped out. As you know, he should flip out because there's no reason you should give a guy a first serve again.
Because it was after the first serve already happened when the photographer came out. So that's what I didn't fully understand.
There's rules, and I don't know the rules of the USTA and tennis. I'm sure by the rules it makes sense.
Sure.
But by common sense, it makes no sense. And I don't think this would have been a big deal if Medvedev didn't flip out. The photographer would have sat down. They would have continued on. If he said second serve, it would have been a 4-second delay, not a 7-minute delay. Because Medvedev goes over to the chair umpire. He's rallying the crowd to be assholes, and they are New Yorkers, so they're rallying them to be assholes, and he's egging them on for 7 minutes of this, and that makes the photographer into a really big enemy. And the internet, of course, goes to town on lambasting the photographer and telling the photographer that it's their fault and all of this stuff. Okay. Another thing is, when I talked about it in RAWtalk, Photo News Fix, I didn't want to sit there and rip on the photographer because I'm sure the photographer feels extremely terrible about this. And
don't kick him while he's down. Yeah.
Right. I mean, I could have talked about the lens hood being backwards, gave him the benefit of the doubt and say, look, he was in the heart of the heat of the moment. And no professional photographer should ever have their lens hood on backwards. It's either off and not being used at all because you're worried that it could fall on the court or on the rink or anywhere, or it's on the proper way. So this photographer ends up getting their credentials stripped. So they were hired. They were a Turkish photographer, I believe, shooting for a Turkish agency.
Yeah, Anadolu agency.
I can't get a credential. But these people are getting credentials is always infuriating. But this photographer fought back and said, I'm the victim here. Now, look, I don't know if the guy misunderstood something, didn't understand English, right? But as a seasoned veteran photographer,
he understands English.
Well, but as a seasoned veteran photographer, there's a situational awareness that needs to be had. What he says happened is that he was told that it was between plays or whatever, that he was okay to go out on the court. Now, I've never been underneath Arthur Ashe Stadium to know how this works, but you can tell from how he comes on the court is that he comes from a tunnel that is underneath the stadium, and you don't have a clear view of the match. Now, I don't know if there's TVs down there. I'm sure I could call a friend of mine who shoots the U.S. Open, Jason, his name is, I call him Seasons, but it's Zenes. It's spelled like SZNESS or something, and I thought it was Seasons. He says it's Zenes. Anyway, he's there photographing right now. I could ask him, but they're probably TV'd underneath that just show what's happening, I would think. But
the security guard has to know somehow.
Well,
if he's under there as well.
Good point, Stephen. Exactly. So there's probably a preview, a TV or something. This photographer says that it's all a misunderstanding. He was told by security that he could go out. Now, what he should have done is when he walked out and he looked before he got out of the tunnel, situational awareness, should have seen that that the players were on the court. If the players are on the court, what are you doing?
My issue, like you just said, is I don't know how you would walk out onto the court without hearing that first serve or without looking up and simply seeing the player preparing to return serve. He just blindly went out there. And why not tiptoe the first few steps, look up, make sure there's no one playing, and then go out? Instead, he's head down, walking out, and then just kept walking. I would have reversed and went backwards back into the hole.
The biggest issue that was caused was not the photographer, because of the photographer. It was because the chair umpire ruled a first serve, even though the guy already lost his first serve.
Because the photographer came out.
I get it, but he should. I just think it's bad judgment on the official.
I do agree on that. Yeah.
Proper judgment would have been sorry, hold. This is bad.
Yep.
Okay, second serve, go. And Medvedev probably wouldn't have flipped out.
Medvedev actually did say that he was not annoyed about the whole photographer situation. It was more about the official making that call.
But now Medvedev is still a little bitch because in the past he has drop kicked a real an actual broadcast TV camera. He kicked at it because he ran into it on the court once on his own. Everybody plays on the same court with the cameras there. He drop kicked the front element, and we're talking the $200,000 lens element. What an asshole. So he was fined $42,000 and change, $30,000 for his little bitchiness, and $12,500 for destruction of his racket, abusive racket. But here's where it gets even more hairy, is that the USTA countered this guy's argument and said that he was told numerous times by security not to go out.
What I don't understand is if that was the case and he still went out, why did no one follow him and grip him up or something? They just let him walk out?
100%.
If this was a concert situation and we weren't allowed to go out, say the first song or second song, and there was security waiting there escorting us in or something like that, if I just went out without security letting me go out or telling me I can go out, I would have been tackled or yelled at or something. They wouldn't have just let me go all the way across the venue into the other side or something like that to photograph.
Nope. That's the exact point. If he went past security, that's probably a pretty long hallway.
Yeah.
They have a long way to be like, fuck you, dude, stop, and grab him.
And it still took at least probably 10 feet just to get out onto the court. You still got a good amount of room to kind of grab him or say something.
This looks like a failure on multiple places. Security, if security said you could go, then that's a problem. They have to have a TV down low.
And I found it really odd that the photographer, after being yelled at and screwing all of this up, he then continues to shoot. Like he's then capturing the moment of all of this. It's like, dude, get out. All of this is because of you. I mean, I get it. As a photojournalist at that point, your instincts kick in and you're like, oh, I guess I got to capture this, but it's not the right time. Read the room. And then in the footage, he's even seen like smirking while
I don't think he's smirking.
Photos.
Nah, man, that's
looks like it.
That's nerves. That's like, oh fuck,
Nervous,
this isn't good. Yeah, come on. Like
I
give the benefit of the doubt there. I don't want to rip on the photographer for that, but it could be a failure on two fronts. Failure on security, failure on him for not having situational awareness to look. Like when I am crossing the Phillies dugout after an inning, we've got 2 minutes generally to walk from the first base photo well to the third base photo well, all on the warning track, or back to inside third base by the dugout. But when players are about to go onto the field, I stop before I get to the stairwell for the players to come out of the dugout to look.
Yeah.
Is anybody coming? Is anybody coming off the field? Is anybody coming on the field? Because I don't want to have any interaction where I accidentally run into somebody or they run into me and someone gets hurt. Do you know how bad it would be if a player got hurt because they ran into me because I wasn't paying attention?
Could you imagine? That's a scary thought.
Yeah. So that's why I take the utmost of care in walking, and I walk fast. As soon as the I see that no players are coming, I walk fast across that 5 feet space.
It reminds me of driving. Like if you're trying to turn or something and someone stops and lets you go or something, you still look. You still make sure there's no cars coming or whatever. You don't just say, "Oh, they told me to go, I can go."
Well, that's how I got in an accident once.
Oh, really?
It wasn't. I didn't go. There was let's just say a newer female driver was being waved by someone else to turn.
Yeah.
But the one person was in a turning lane and I was in the lane to the right? Because it's not a turning lane. I'm in the go straight lane. And then this person decided to make a blind left because someone was waving them. As a driver, I'm never going to wave anybody around because I'm just going to go. Yeah. If I have a clear path, that's what you're supposed to do. You're not being an asshole because you don't let someone go. You go and get out of the way so they can see.
I've had people like almost get angry at me because I didn't go right away. They're like, come on, like waving me on. I'm like, go, flashing their lights. And I'm like, no, like I can't see if anyone's coming.
Yeah.
I'm not just going to blindly.
Well, same thing here, like stop signs in Philly. People don't stop at stop signs. They dan them. They just roll through them. But
South Philly slide.
Yeah, but my favorite is when someone else is at the stop sign before me and I'm coming up to a stop and they wave me. Yeah. And then like you say, they get upset. They get upset because I stop fully. I'm like, yeah, just because you're waving me doesn't mean I don't stop at the stop sign anymore. I'd still get a ticket for you're not getting pulled over being a white guy in the city usually. Doing any of that. They don't pull any. I think there was an edict in the city where they said for a while, we don't pull anybody over for these infractions because it leads to trouble.
Sure.
So they didn't. So I just got confirmation that there is not a TV underneath. There is just a security guy that is
Radio,
there.
I guess. They
I don't
must have
know.
something. How would they know to let a photographer out then?
I don't know. Let's see. He says, so my friend says, I'll watch TV in photo services and walk out at a change of sides. Right. So what that means is there's a photo room underneath and there's a TV in there. And when they change sides, you have at least 3 minutes to get out there. Never, obviously, would you go out if it's match point. You have to have some situational awareness there.
Yeah.
So we'll call that an issue on the photographer. And it
Agreed.
says can only walk out at odd games when they switch sides. So there's rules. Somebody fucked up, and we're going to leave it at that right now. It's on both of them.
Very specific, simple rules, though. It's not hard to follow them.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all. But I didn't feel the need to like rip on this photographer because it's just they're going to feel bad enough as it is. A lot of people were ripping on the photographer, and when you don't know the whole story, it makes it even more difficult because you know, I posted something like, I can't get credentials, but this person can walk on the court.
Yeah.
And then I took it down. I took it down after a little bit because I was just like, look, I don't know what happened. I don't know if he was told he could go out there. I don't know what happened. Now, he says he was. They say he wasn't. So at that point, I can't say anything else. But I did go up to the U.S. Open, and I did take pictures. And you can go to the U.S. Open and take photos on a general admission ticket. So we generally go up the first Monday of the U.S. Open, my brother and a couple of friends. And last year, I borrowed an R1 when I got there from Canon with an 85 1.2. Now this year, I looked up what you can bring in because there were other photographers that are just fans that bring in a camera. The rules say you can have a drawstring bag, no backpacks, single compartment, and you can bring an SLR with recording capabilities and a lens up to, but no longer than 300 millimeters.
Wow.
Now, it says SLR. It obviously means they don't know the difference between an
lens camera,
SLR.
probably,
It should say interchangeable lens camera up to 300.
ILC.
Yeah, up to 300 millimeters. So I was able to bring what I decided to bring up, and I had no problem getting in there, which is kind of insane that they have no idea what they're doing.
So could I bring like a 300 2.8?
Well, that is another question, and I would venture to say you might bring more suspicion with that because
Just saying, technically, it's a 300 or less.
But technically, they also give themselves an out by using the word professional. And so if they deem something to be professional, they might say, well, this is a professional camera and lens. You can't bring that in.
Oh, I didn't realize it said no professional cameras.
It also says no video recording devices, but then...
And then you tell them, well, any camera in my hands is professional.
No, I preface it first with, then you better take my eyes. Because my eyes are fucking everything is professional.
Coming in then.
Everything's professional in my hands. But I had a very good time shooting, and not to start though. What I'll say is when it came to shooting, I'm in the stands, but this is the outside courts. There's like 15 outside courts or 17 outside courts, and they're amazing because you're within 4 feet of some of the great tennis players playing, and it's awesome. And then they have some stands where you can get up higher, but you're still really close. And so I started off by shooting from a seat and getting tight pictures of just a tennis player. And I'm like, these are going to suck if it's just a tight picture of a tennis player. There's no interest.
Yeah.
Then I tried the slow shutter speed stuff to try and do some panning-y things to make it work. And then I was struggling. And when walking around, I saw a shadow, and I was like, that's my focus now. And so for the next 2.5 to 3 hours, all I did was look for shadows and angles and unique things that would show the U.S. Open, but from the perspective of the fan who doesn't have a photo pass.
How is the crowd? Very, very quiet? Like you can hear a pin drop when they're playing? Or
No.
Are people still having conversations? And I mean, obviously you're outside where you were.
You're still supposed to have, be quiet during a match.
Like I didn't know if it was like golf where, you literally have to be like completely silent.
It's not nearly as quiet as golf.
Okay.
Golf is like complete silence when someone's in their swing. Now you want to be the people there's general noise going on. There's airplanes flying over
That's what
to
I mean.
the
You're
airport.
outside, yeah.
Yeah, and you can hear calls from other courts. So obviously it's not going to be completely silent because the courts are right next to each other. But if there's a crying baby, they would be like, get your fucking crying baby out of here. I don't know why you brought your fucking baby to the US Open and are sitting here with that.
I guess what I'm getting at is the photographer walking out, was it that much of a distraction to have to do another serve?
Oh, no. The photographer
Obviously
walking out.
Stuff is going on while they're playing.
It should have stopped the match for that 5 seconds, and then it should have been like, carry on, second serve, go.
Yeah.
And no one would have probably flipped out at that point.
Yep.
It's just terrible, and the photographer still would have gotten in trouble. But anyway, I had a good day there, and you've seen the photos, and it doesn't matter what they're taken with because you can just show up and shoot there, and I'm happy with the results that I got.
Yeah, they look great.
I'm gonna post some of those on Instagram and just show the photo story that I captured because I was just like, these shadows are awesome, and it's more of a showcase to show people once again that, look, I didn't have credentials for this, but I was able to do the same thing that you'd be able to do if you showed up with a pass and with a camera and a lens, because even the press photographers ended up being in the same place as I was, looking for different angles because it's outside courts. So that's the moral of the story is you can still tell a story without having a credential to be at an event. And it doesn't matter if it's a US Open, it doesn't matter if it's a baseball game, it doesn't matter. You can still find the photo story to tell. So speaking of photo stories to tell, your favorite gym teacher and English teacher. What did she call herself?
I think English teacher, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Your favorite gym teacher and English teacher are getting married. Who are we talking about? We're talking about Miss Taylor Swift.
Woohoo! Swifties!
And Zach, what the fuck's his
Travis
name?
Kelce.
Travis Kelce got engaged. Now, we're not going to talk about the pop cultureness of that. We're here to talk about the engagement photos that were shared and broke Instagram.
I love his handle, by the way. I never saw it before, but it's Killer Trav.
Oh, Killer Trav. It should
Killer
be like
Trav.
White Boy Trav.
Yeah,
or
seriously.
sexual, like chocolate, like white chocolate is what people used to call him because they're like, he's not really like a white guy, but he is a white guy, but they call him like white chocolate.
Good looking dude for sure.
He's all right. Yeah, he's all right. You know, I said this to a friend yesterday. I would totally be down for One Night in Taylor. I would. I'd watch that. You know, we had One Night in Paris. I was like, that's pretty cool. Like, that's great. One Night in China, not so good.
Oh, geez.
Not so good. But One Night in Taylor, I'd be down. I'd be down for that. If it ever happens, like, by all means, send it this way.
Please.
What? So they posted how many? Was it 3, 4 photos on Instagram?
Something like that. 4 or 5. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
What's your take? What's your first hot take? There's 33 million likes on this.
It's
33 million likes.
I mean, they're fine. It's not my particular style. I probably wouldn't be too happy if they were my engagement photos. But, you know, it follows the latest photo trend, that harsh on-camera direct flash aesthetic, gives it that specific look that I don't really love, but the kids do these days. It's reminiscent to me of like smartphone snapshots or maybe a Polaroid or an Instax style image. The editing is a little on the moody side and dramatic side. I think it's a little much for an engagement shoot. A lot of muted colors and tones, which I don't mind, but it's a little depressing again for like an engagement photo shoot. My question is, was this a planned photo shoot or was this in the moment? Because he's on his knees, you know, looks like he's proposing and it's in the moment and she's hugging after. And was there a photographer hiding somewhere, you know, taking these the first photo at least when he's on his knee? Or was this a completely planned photo shoot because they are such high profile people?
So what he said, and I believe his dad mentioned this, he wanted to do something more extravagant, but his dad is just like, just be real. Like, you don't need to blow it up. You guys, if you're in love, just do it.
It was in his backyard, in his garden. So it was at their house. I would think it was more in the moment, candid moment, but...
Yeah, especially because where her hand is on his head.
Yeah.
It looks like she's super excited and super happy. Like, that's not... I don't know. I mean, it could be set up. I don't know, but
it's hard to say because the harshness of the direct flash and everything, you kind of think like, oh, it does look like it's in the moment. Like,
you think that first one is direct flash too?
No,
where he's on his knee?
I don't think there was even a flash in that first one. I think this is someone almost like hiding in the garden taking photos, and then probably popped out once she said yes and started taking photos and maybe directed them a little bit, but it's hard to say. Obviously, the last picture where they're sitting on that bench. That was clearly a posed shot.
But the problem when you do flash there is the flash is on the outside and it's barely, you're not getting the light on the inside.
I think it would have been much better without a flash at all. But also, I don't know how dark it was, so it's hard to say.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like they're in a garden, so they're probably covered by a canopy.
Lots of
and
foliage.
They want to pop some light.
Yeah.
Now, there is no word on who the photographer was.
None.
There's no tag, which I'm not like, who knows? Like, why weren't they tagged? I don't know. And I'm a little torn on tagging sometimes. Like, I get it. I want to be tagged.
I would want to be
in this
tagged
case,
in a Taylor Swift engagement photo shoot. I mean, Instagram said the photo carousel is now their most shared in Instagram history. It even crashed Instagram for some users. So, yeah, I would definitely want to be tagged in that post.
Yeah, that would be a better one to be tagged in. That'd be like, Taylor, could you please tag me in that? Because 33 million people looking at that, something's going to happen. Like, that dress already sold out. And this is going to create trends for the next couple of years, is anything that Taylor does, so her wedding photos are going to be a trend. So whoever she picks to photograph it is going to be, and I'm not even saying that Travis even has a say in it, because it's just like whatever she's going to want.
It's going to be like Annie Leibovitz or something.
I don't...
Some high profile name.
The color is kind of reminiscent of Annie Leibovitz, except it's not as muted as she would have gone.
I don't think
with.
she took these. I'm just saying I could see them like hiring her for the wedding.
I'm saying the color isn't as muted, meaning the photographer did muted colors with whatever preset they did.
Definitely.
Look, they're fine. They're not the most extravagant, fine art looking engagement photos ever. Like, they are what they are. They're fine. They're fine.
They're candid. They're real. They're authentic. That's all I care about. So
you think?
I'm actually glad they didn't do
way.
some glamorous pose. Like, I could see, like, I don't know, Kim Kardashian, like if she got married again, doing
totally
some crazy glamorous photo shoot.
Yeah. Well, so it also then says, is this going to be the trend that people are going to want? We don't want a really high-end professional looking photo. We want shitty looking. I'm not saying these are shitty, but it's just like, we want the less polished look and just more snapshotty.
Yeah.
Which I'm always for candids.
Yeah, I definitely prefer the fly on the wall photojournalistic style of wedding photos and not so much the formal pose stuff. But I don't know. I would have liked a little more direction if this was my engagement shoot, I think, and definitely less harsh flash.
Yeah, less on-camera flash for that matter. But what do you see at the end of the day? You don't see what camera or lens was used.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't matter. 33 million people have liked this on Instagram. That's insane. So it has nothing to do with the gear. It has nothing to do with, I mean, it's Taylor Swift. So whatever they put out is what they put out. And it doesn't matter. I mean, it does matter who took it, but it doesn't matter who took it. It would be good for that photographer to be like, these were my photos, and like get all that publicity for it. Because look, what I was saying earlier about, the whole being tagged thing, when a nobody posts something and they don't tag you, whatever, man. If something is super huge and super major, that's like a different thing. That's a good thing.
100%, yeah.
But in the everyday world, like, Steven took a picture, like, I'll tag Steven for taking a picture of me. Or if a friend, one of the bowlers, posts a picture I took and they don't tag me, I don't flip the fuck out.
Yeah.
Because they're going to reach like 400 people.
Yeah.
In this case, 33 million people seeing you're the photographer, a whole lot different. Because you would have gotten 1 million followers
instant
like that.
Oh, yeah. You would have become a celebrity overnight, for sure.
Yep.
Taylor Swift's photographer.
Yeah, I wonder who did take them, though.
I'm actually surprised that this information didn't leak out beforehand. They said it was this photo shoot and engagement happened 2 weeks before they actually announced it publicly.
Yeah.
I mean, that's some top secret information that they held in for 2 weeks, which blows my mind. Like, the photographer, it has to be probably a family friend of some sort, if I had to guess.
Yeah.
Unless they made him sign some serious NDAs or something.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know either. I don't know. Just very surprised that, or the jeweler, they kept that obviously a secret.
Yeah, but now that it's good for the jeweler, it's good for the dress. Like Ralph Lauren made the dress and it's sold out. Like it's just insane the power that someone can wield just from who she is. Like she is extremely powerful, and so there's nothing inherently wrong with the photos. I don't think they're the greatest thing since sliced bread.
Yeah.
Like the composition of the on the knee photo is like, I don't know, they popped out. Who knows? Who knows who took it? Could have been Jason Kelce for all we know.
Seriously, yeah. I'd say the proposing on the knee photo is probably my favorite of the bunch because it just looks like a raw moment captured.
I don't get what
there's some weird
the
green,
imperfection on the right.
Well, and on the left, look, it's like a green vignette. Like that entire tree is green, including the bark. So they added something to the edges, which is kind of odd. And then there's that flaring ghosting going on the right. I guess to draw you in on the center, but it's not really needed. Kind of
because
weird.
it almost makes it feel like maybe AI was used on the right hand side because it almost looks like a redundant leaf. It doesn't. I don't think it is, but it kind of gives off that feel like, well, we copied something over here, and who knows?
Honestly, I know you don't want to hear this, but this would be for me a time when I would crop vertically, right in the middle. Nice vertical shot. Left and right is not needed at all.
Take it that way to begin with.
Yeah, well, of course. I'm just saying if I happen to take it this way and saw it in post-production that, hey, it's probably a better vertical shot, crop all day.
I do have some breaking news, though, Steven.
What's that?
Taylor Swift just asked me to be her wedding photographer.
Oh, man.
Nope. I think I'm too much of a man to be asked. I would venture to say a woman will be photographing that wedding. I think it's a pretty high probability.
Would you wear an I Shoot Raw shirt if you happened to photograph that wedding?
I mean, I'd wear it
Sleeveless,
underneath.
purple I Shoot Raw shirt.
Look, if you're hiring me because of my celebrity, then I'm going to be me and be me. You're paying to have me there. So yeah,
It's
I'm
all
going to
about
be
me.
It's
not
all about
your
me.
day. This is not, it might be your wedding, but it's my day.
It's because weddings are stupid. Weddings are stupid,
Lots
waste
of
of
money
money.
spent on weddings, that is for sure,
Yeah.
including my own.
I know. Yeah, you spent a lot. You had 300 people at your wedding.
Irish Catholic family, man. Massive amount of people had to be invited.
You could have said no to Todd and Dan
That is true.
and me bringing a guest. Like, why did I need a guest?
I had to give you a +1.
Most people don't ever give me a +1.
It's a little different. You're my employer. And I don't remember, were you dating someone at the time or no? Like when I
No.
actually sent out the invites.
No. I
was
brought an
probably just being nice
acupuncturist, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dan didn't bring anyone. His wife never showed up.
Nope.
Nice seat to pay for.
Yeah. Well, I wrote a fat check that night,
You did.
and I would have been more happy with no, I didn't want to write a big fat check, but I wrote a big fat check. I'm like, I think I have to do this.
I
But I
liked
did
your
make a beautiful
handwritten card on an envelope or something. What did you give me?
I make a beautiful card. I always make handwritten cards, hand-drawn cards.
It was like an open bill envelope that you gave it to me in, right?
No, I think I took a insurance notification envelope and slid it into
was like
that
already open and
yeah, but I hand draw. I take a 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, fold it over, put something on the front, and then do stick figures on the inside right.
oh yeah.
And it's always something pretty. People like them because it's different.
Dude, we ended up getting probably the same card over and over just because there's so many wedding cards you can get, and it's just like I got probably like 50 of the same exact Hallmark basic ass cards. And then I got yours, a hand-drawn card, which was highly entertaining for sure.
This is why I've always refused to do what everybody else does, or everybody's like, well, you have to go buy a card. Why? Why do I have to go buy some bullshit card that's like happily ever after? I mean, I'd rather make a card that's like, you got a 50-50 shot here. Like, you got 50-50.
Good luck.
Yeah, like, okay, cool. Like, I just think
That's
it's
exactly
more personal.
what people want to hear on their wedding day.
Well, hey, when you're a wedding photographer, you're like, hey, discount for your second wedding.
The divorce discount.
Use me now, use me in the future.
That's so funny.
There was this one friend I had whose wife did sleep with the wedding photographer.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. She started sleeping with the wedding photographer. They ended up being divorced.
It's in their contract. Must consummate the wedding.
Or please lend me a bridesmaid of my choice.
Yeah.
Bridesmaid of my choice. Yeah. I've never gone fishing at a wedding, Steven. I'm just kidding. I've gone fishing at weddings.
Oh, I'm pretty sure you were sending me pictures of people at my wedding that were attending, and you're like, oh, she's single?
Oh, yeah. I was from the pew to the right.
Yeah.
I was in the pew, and then she was to the left. I was like, who's that? You're like, she's married. I'm like, God damn it.
I think you thought she was Jewish, too, but she's just Italian.
Yeah. Really nice
really
nose.
Italian.
Big fan.
Yeah.
Big fan. Big fan. Yeah, I like weddings because you try to hit on people. I do, at least. I wonder who Taylor's best female is going to be.
Yeah, obviously, I think Travis is going to have his brother as the best man, if I had to guess.
Can I just say this, Steven? Who fucking cares? Like, I care about the photography aspect, but everybody's like crying. You watch videos like, did you hear the news? Taylor Swift isn't getting, and they start crying. Like, she's been in love so many times and heard it's finally happening. When she has a baby, maybe I'll be like, cool. And if it can last 5 years, then I'll be like, cool.
You know what it felt like? It felt like the day Michael Jackson died. Like, everybody was talking about it. Everybody, including like my parents who don't care about Taylor at all, were talking about it. It's like, wow, this is seriously huge news. But it's really not at the same time.
It's really not when everything else is going on.
Yeah.
So, anything else we want to go into today? I don't know what else there is. I think we've hit all the news that we've got for this episode.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it for this week in terms of news. I think you covered a lot last week when I wasn't here, right? Including like the new Nikon releases, the lens and all that.
Yeah, the new Nikon, which hopefully we get a hands-on at some point, but I really don't care.
I just find it odd that nobody had it. They didn't give it to anybody. We didn't even know about it until it was pretty much announced, right? I think did we get a briefing like the day before they told us?
I think I might have been told beforehand that it was coming in the next couple of hours.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
And I was like, and did anybody have it? And it's like, nobody had it.
They kept it under wraps. I don't think there's a single review out there, maybe from like B&H or one of them, but a retailer.
Oh, actually, they might have had a hands-on of a pre-production model.
But of course, they're going to say positive things about it when they're trying to sell it to you.
Well, that's the thing about those B&H videos.
Well, and that's what I always enjoyed about the Camera Store TV. You know, Chris and Jordan, who are now with Petapixel, they kept it real. Which I don't know how they got away with that, you know, working for a camera store and saying negative things about a product that they sell. But good on them.
There was this one time that I said a lens smelled like don't buy it, that Alan was not very happy with it. I'm like, but Alan, it's true. I know that you're carrying it, but this will result in selling better stuff.
But the difference with that stuff that you used to do at Alan's Camera is that you did it for your channel. You didn't necessarily work at Alan's Camera and do it for them.
No, I was not working.
Yeah.
I was not working at Alan's Camera. I was independent. Alan was just being extremely helpful to help me get off the ground. And I am forever indebted to that.
Massive
that he
help.
was there at the beginning to allow me to unbox and sniff test stuff. As soon as it came in, I would get a phone call, and he loved it. I think he loved it, but he came off a little harsher as like he didn't like it because he'd be like, Jared, you're taking up too much space. I'm like, you invited me here, Alan. You invited me.
And Brandon continues to help us out when we need something. Just recently, I think we borrowed the A7C II for that RX1R3 video, right?
100%. We always say it. If you can support a local mom and pop store, go to Alan's Camera, go to allanscamera.com, talk to Brandon, tell him the Fro sent you. They are a mom and pop store. The pricing is going to be exactly the same as B&H. It's all the same nowadays. I would not buy on I still would not buy on Amazon. I just would not buy new gear on Amazon. We're very appreciative of working with Alan's Camera. You know that we do some B&H plugs. We do some Adorama plugs. And the best thing that B&H, when I started doing some stuff with B&H, I told them that I will not stop promoting Alan's. And they were like, that is no problem.
They were okay with it, yeah.
We have no problem with that because they get it. That's like they're not afraid of Alan's. Mm-hmm. They're a mom and pop store. They don't want to put them out of business. Yes, they're very competitive, but they understand it's an entirely different league that they're playing in, and they do support the mom and pop people. B&H, what's great about B&H is they are in it for the long game. When it comes to working with someone, they are not about just one and dones. They get that it's about the future, and they will support creators. And of course, Brandon obviously supports creators too, but it's a whole different level when they're doing billions of dollars a year or however much B&H makes versus a store that's making less than that. a lot less than that, but still. So
And I still to this day don't understand the Paybu card, how they get around that whole tax issue, but you really do save a ton of money.
but you still have to do it smartly, because if you don't, you're at 50% interest, anywhere between 29 and 50%, depending on your credit, is insane.
Treat your credit card like a debit card.
100%.
Always.
You don't buy it unless you can't. You don't. If you can't afford it, you don't buy it.
Yep.
Or if you do the financing of 12 months or 6 months, you make sure it's paid off in that amount of time.
Yep.
Whatever you need to do, you pay it off.
Do it the smart way.
Just like, I was going to bring something up about Jews, because I was talking to my dad the other day. I'm like, I was listening to a podcast I've been listening to, which is good. It's called Ultra with Rachel Maddow. And it's just fantastic historical stuff. And it always comes back to people's reasonings for everything was the Jews were the Jews did it. The rich Jews are controlling the media and controlling the president. It's like, well, the president isn't a Jew in 1942. Like, what do you mean they're controlling the interest? And I was like, Dad, why does everybody hate us so much? It's just like, it's just insane.
It is.
It's just insane
really is.
that it always comes down to Jews, a population that makes up 2% of the world. But there is a thing to be said about Jews and money. You know, I watched a video of
No.
Yeah, but I watched and then we'll wrap this up. But I watched a video that a guy put out because he did some research into how Jews, end up with money, and he's like, because they do it for generational wealth.
Yeah.
They don't do it for show me where they spend it all now. They make money today, but set it up for the future so that their kids and their children's children can have money, because they think long-term generationally. So it's smart investing. It's being smart with money. It's not buying that thing that you don't need and blowing your load right there. That's it's not, of course not every Jew has a lot of money. I know many of Jews who have no money.
Oh, of course.
So it's just a stupid ass fucking stereotype.
Yeah.
But whatever. The reason I got onto that isn't because B&H is owned by a bunch of Jews. It's the fact that you need to be smart when you use a credit card. Yes, they offer Paybu, but do not carry yes, you can save in tax, but do not ever carry a balance if you don't have to.
On any credit card, yeah.
Exactly. Can I do a side note there? I'm going to do a side note there.
I thought that was the side note.
Another side note that you brought up, because I was I've talked about this a few times. Did a thing called Fuzzstock. It was a music festival in New Hope, PA that was a flop, a failure. I put up the $15,000, right? I put it on credit cards. I used it went on to credit cards to do the whole thing. It didn't work. We made no money back. So now I'm in the whole 15 grand. I had a partner. They never gave me anything more than $100 to pay their half of it. I started to pay the thing off. I went and worked at Ritz Camera to help get a job to do it. The point is, though, I was carrying no interest, because every time a new credit card would come out and they would offer you zero financing for 12 months, all you had to pay was a 3% transfer fee. So if I'm transferring $14,000 and it's like maxed out at a certain number, but if it cost me $300 or $350 to transfer to a zero financing card for 12 months and I make the minimum payments, and then at the end of that 12 months, I transferred to another card and paid the fee again until it got to the point where I had enough money. And this was after Frono's Photo started, so it was a couple years of doing this. Then I was able to write a check and cover it, but I never got charged any interest other than the 3% transfer fee to get onto a card, because I did it smartly. I used credit to my advantage.
Oh, yeah.
I used the credit to my advantage by not carrying interest, by looking for the best offer possible and just keeping that cycle going until I could pay it all off. So it was just about being smarter and fiscally responsible.
Quite the story.
And that's it.
Yeah.
Moral of the story, don't file for bankruptcy. You'd be fucking stupid to do so.
Yes.
That was a suggestion. That was a suggestion given to me by my partner at the time.
Oh, Jesus.
And I was like, do you know over 14 grand?
Yeah.
I would not have 5 properties right now if that was the case. It's 7 years you fuck your credit up for.
Oh, yeah.
7 years. So that was 25. Let's see, 2005, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That would have been 7 years later. 2012 would have been 2 years past starting Frono's Photo. I would have been in deep shit.
My question
living at
is, why
home-
did it all go on you? Why did you take the entire hit? If you had a partner, why wasn't he 50-50?
Well, they were.
But they just didn't pay for anything.
Correct. Because it was on my credit, because I had credit.
Oh, they didn't have a credit card?
They didn't have good standing, as a Jewish person who didn't have any money. So
Wow.
there's your case in point.
Yeah. Wow.
But yeah, no, it was supposed to be that way. But you know what? I came out better for it. I worked my ass off. I accomplished paying it off, and I've succeeded well beyond that little bump in the road. And that's what it was. Just got to stick to it and do what you need to do to win. And I loved working, even though it was Ritz camera. I did what I needed to do. I paid the shit off. I did it smartly. And thankfully, I'm very thankful to my parents for instilling in my brother and I fiscal responsibility. We had bank accounts. We had, back in the day, before everything was digital, you had an actual book, a booklet that had all of your transactions in it when you would go to the bank. So it's like you have $403, and then you'd go to the bank and take out $20, and then it would say you have $400, $20 less than that, and it would put the date and how much you took out and it would print out. And so they instilled in us being fiscally responsible. Are you sure you want to spend the money on that? It just sets you up for the future. That's it. Sorry.
You don't want to go on another tangent for 20 minutes?
Well, now that you mention it, Steven. All right, let's get out of here. This is episode 166. Thank you very much for listening. Jared Polin, FronosPhoto.com. See ya.
Bye.